This is a really short video that's going to show you how to make an awesome pizza like this in your home oven without using a pizza stone. All you need is a baking sheet and an oven. First step is you got to take your dough, coat it with flour like we always do, and then you're going to want to smear that flour all the way off the sides just so that it's evenly coated, but so there's not too much built up flour. Otherwise, all that excess flour on the dough is going to burn, it's going to taste bitter. You don't want that. So coat the whole thing with flour, wipe off all the excess. Then start in the center like we always do. Push down on the dough so that you can move the gases from the center toward the outside. And then you can either turn the dough every time you do one of these stretches, or you can flip it upside down, whatever you want to do. In this example, I'm just going to turn it a quarter turn. And every time I turn it a quarter turn, I press down on the inside of the dough and move my hand slightly toward the outside, leaving just a little bit of space on the edge to become the cornicione or the edge crust. Then sneak your knuckles right underneath the lip and then pass the dough from one knuckle to the other, turning the dough either clockwise or counterclockwise, but keeping the knuckles only at the very, very edge, not in the center, otherwise you're gonna get a hole. So keep on the edge when you stretch. Now as you do this, the dough's gonna get larger. I use a dough ball about 250 grams, gonna get to about 12 inches. If you're using a screen to do this, which is totally possible, then you can just pull the dough onto the screen and then sneak the edges over to the outside, and then you can get to the right shape. If you're not using a screen, of course there are other ways to do this. You could do that on a baking sheet like this. Put the pizza onto a lightly oiled baking sheet and then just sneak the edges so that it has the shape you want. Next step, we gotta sauce it up, okay? This is the only prep we really need to do for the first part of the bake. And in this example, I'm using this little pouch of sauce, but if you're using regular sauce, you can just dump it in the center. The next step is the crucial step though. It's how to smear the sauce evenly. You wanna use the bottom of a big fat spoon. So I'm just smearing the sauce evenly from the center toward the outside. And I do this in concentric circles. In a pizza shop, you'll see them do the same thing. Next step, any dried herbs or spices are gonna go on top of the sauce. Red pepper flakes on top of the sauce. Dried oregano on top of the sauce. I like to crush it up between my fingers so it loosens it up a little bit more, opens it up, expresses the oils. Finally, take a little bit of extra virgin olive oil and just put a little swirl of extra virgin olive oil on top of the dough, on top of the sauce, on top of the dried spices. And then, final bonus stretch, you can just pull the edges outward ever so slightly, and the weight of the sauce on the inside is gonna hold it down. Now, this thing's gonna go into the oven, 500-degree oven for 7 minutes. You preheated that oven 500 degrees or hotter for 7 minutes. Once that 7 minutes is up, it's time to pull that thing out of the oven, and we're looking for brown spots on the edge. Here I see them. Brown spots on the edge, all along the edge. Half of it is a little bit pale. That's the part that was facing the front door of the oven. So, I'll position it accordingly when it goes back in. Now, it's all about cheese and toppings. So, a little bit of shredded mozzarella, a little bit of pepperoni, whatever other toppings you're gonna put on there, they're gonna go on right now. And then finally, a little bit more sauce, because that first bit of sauce cooked down and reduced during that first bake, during the par bake. So a little bit more sauce is going to help us out. And then I like to hit it with a little bit of pecorino on top before it goes back into the oven. That pecorino is going to char up a little bit on the crust. So this goes into the oven for somewhere between 4 and 6 minutes. I'm going to set mine to 4 minutes just so you can see what's going to happen. But 4 to 6 minutes or whatever amount of time makes it look good to you. Here it is. Time's up. Let's see what this thing looks like. And this is seriously that pizza 4 minutes later. Ooh, looks awesome. But as soon as it comes out of the oven, we want to get it off of the baking sheet, put it onto a cooling rack, and let it sit. This way it'll crisp up. This is the pizza. It was baked without a pizza stone, only a baking sheet in your home oven.